this one.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, man, it's great to meet you. And I want to begin our conversation with surviving the last 3.5 years. How did you get through the pandemic and how did it change you?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're a marketing agency, so a lot of it was just a hard pause. We had a lot of clients who just didn't have open doors, didn't have anything to promote. We work with the five major sports teams here in Calgary, and it was a hard pause. There was no tickets to sell, nobody allowed in the building. So we lost a ton of money in the first 3 months of 2020. And honestly, my business partner and I just got together and we just said, buckle up. It's time to start checking in with people, just seeing how they're doing. We took the sales side really out of the business and just started asking people, how's your family? How's your business? What's going on? Are you okay? And building relationships again. And I think a lot of that outreach, it turned quickly into business conversations and how we can help people. And it really proved to drive a lot of revenue back into the business. So I would say in 2020, in the first 3 months, we lost almost half of our revenue, and by the end of 2020, we had doubled our revenue based on the previous year. And ever since then, we've just continued to grow. It's been new employees, new clients, just constant growth to the point where we moved into our office here in December 2019. We did an open house February 2020, 120 some odd people coming through the doors. And then 3 weeks later, we shut the whole place down, and it was pretty much just me. My business partner John was working from home, and I was kind of back and forth, but coming into the office, and we just strapped in and just hit the ground hard, making sure that we weren't going to lose the growth that we had already achieved. And now here we are, January 2024, and we've outgrown our office space. We're not even through our lease, and we're looking at moving. So that growth happened. I think, regardless of what was going on in the world, but we're lucky, we're an essential service in a lot of ways. So we just had to make sure that we were visible and we were talking to people, not forgetting what else is going on.
That's genius, though, because at the end of the day, that's what business is about. It's about relationships. And if people feel like there's some level of like human connection, that's huge. I mean, that's going to drive, I mean, that's the cornerstone of any good business.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's honestly how we started the business. Like John and I, when we we both left corporate jobs, and we did it specifically to strengthen the relationships that we had with our existing clients. And we felt like, we weren't able to really offer that transparency from a level of, we're running ad campaigns. Are people getting conversions? Is there any data to support that? Is there an ROI? And you work in the corporate world and there is no real accountability or transparency for ROI. It's really just, hey, you want to buy an ad, this is what we're selling, and you run campaigns, and business owners are responsible to tell you whether or not they're seeing any growth. And that's not how we wanted to do business long term. So we chose to leave, start the company, and it was really about providing better value to our customers. And it's always been a relationship game for us, and it's 100% helped all in all.
So if I put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day and one of the kids was curious and said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
Um, you know, I would say I enjoy my life for one, because I'm happy with what I do. But what we do for a living is really just help people grow their business, and try to find ways to find find a way to grow market share and identify ways to put companies in a conversation when people are looking to buy a product. So whether that's a doctor, a dentist, a chiropractor, a guy selling shoes, or eyebrow tattoos or extensions or whatever it is, people come to us because they want to grow their business, and they want to feel that financial freedom at some point in life, and we help them get there. So we're really fortunate to be a part of a lot of really great conversations with clients who have been with us 5 or 6 years to say, man, my business is just has grown like crazy, and that's a great feeling. So
So who's been a hero? Who's been kind of a role model for you?
um it's a good question. I think I come from a family who is full of salespeople who have been entrepreneurs and either started their own business or gone into politics and been, self-motivated. And I can look at that, and I can always say, there's something inside me that I needed to find, and I'm lucky I found it early in my 20s, and kind of followed the same path. I always kind of, for some reason, when I was like 14, 15 years old, I was like, I'm going to own a car dealership. Nobody in my family owned a car dealership. I don't know where that came from. It wasn't like I want to go sell cars or work in automotive. It was like, I'm going to own the place. That was just what it was right from the beginning. And when I started my company with John, it was something that we just always knew we wanted to do, and it wasn't really that scary. I think the scary part was leaving a six-figure corporate job and going and waiting tables while we tried to build revenue into a company. But I can look back and I can say, everyone in my family went through a lot of the same stuff, and took a chance on themselves, believed in themselves, and succeeded. And I can look at that and go, nobody helped them, just like nobody helped me, but there was something inside me that was always there. And I can look back and I can say, hey, you did it, I can do it too. And I would say that that's what I look at. I don't look at, the Mark Cubans of the world, or Elon Musk's of the world, and go, hey, I want to be like you. I've got something too, and I just need to find it, bring it out, and I think a lot of people should take a note, from their family. It's whether or not you have a strong upbringing. There's always traits that you can look at inside your family and go, I want to be like that, or I don't. And you can kind of build your path forward by looking at what you've come from, and whether it's positive or negative. You can look at it and go, these are the things that I want to strive for and what I want to achieve, and this is how I'm going to get there. There's lots of traits in my family that aren't great either. I had to identify those myself to say, this is where I stumble, this is where I fall, this is a trait that I could easily fall into, and I don't want to. So I'm going to look at those positive ones, and that's what I'm going to work towards.
So whether it's in business, even sport, if there's is there one person that's alive right now that you would love to meet and talk to?
Um, I think, for me, I look at it and I kind of go, who can I surround myself with that's going to help me grow as a person? And that, because we are so relationship based, I would never want it to be a one-off conversation. I'd want it to be somebody that I can say, let's build a relationship in some way, whether it's a friendship or a client relationship. So I always look for, people who are leading the charge in our community, and try to identify ways to meet them. And I would say, we did this recently with, we have a new basketball team in Calgary, and just hunting down who's behind the scenes. And do I know them? No. Okay, so I got to find a way to meet them and have that conversation. And we did, and we built the foundation of a good working relationship, and now, they become clients, but also are quickly becoming friends. And so that's the way I look at things. I don't look at things and go, hey, there's a guy out there, I just need to talk to him and pick his brain. It's let's find somebody that I can provide value to, and who could potentially provide value to me, both on the personal side and on the work side. And I join lots of, like, we have a private club here in Calgary called the Petroleum Club. There's leaders and mentors nights, and they're just as important as, joining the Scotch Club, where you can just network and get to know people. And so I think for me, it's just identifying areas where I can see personal growth, or I can, find an opportunity to meet people who are doing something in the community that I'd like to be a part of, and just figuring out who they are and meeting them. I'm the kind of guy that I can walk in any room and talk to anybody and meet people, and find value. I should say the other side of it is, if I identify somebody who doesn't provide value to me, or I don't think is going to be, in my life long term, then I won't invest time in that relationship. But I will find the quality relationships and people that can learn from my knowledge, and I can learn from theirs, and participate in those relationships. So I don't, I've been asked this question a lot. I don't usually identify just a single person. It's what's the purpose, behind meeting these people, and then how do we build a relationship with them, just like you said earlier.
So what is your motivation every day to get up, to not only do the good work for the people that you help, but also to evolve as yourself?
I have three young kids, so that's part of it for
Okay.
sure. I have two sons who are 9 and 6 years old. I have a daughter who's 2. And I want to be at the dinner table every day. I want to find a way to, I say I'm unapologetically a parent. I find ways to take my kids to hockey and take my kids to soccer and put them in, Beaver Scouts and Cub Scouts, and whatever it is, I want to be around, and it just is what it is. So I, kind of structure my day to have that freedom, but we also allow our staff to have similar freedoms. If you got to pick your kids up from daycare and you don't want them there till 5:30, 6 o'clock, then you know what, there's going to be time spent working outside of the typical 9 to 5. And we all have to be motivated enough to stay plugged in, and not worry about, where do we work, when do we work, how do we work. There's work that's got to be done, and there's ways to do that wherever you are in the world. And so that's the approach that we take, and the motivation is solely there to support the kids, and support my family. And of course, there's the, you know, Freedom 49. Everybody wants to retire early. So, there's always that in the back of my head. But, we're 9 years now into growing this agency, and we just want to keep our foot on the pedal.
Yeah. So what's been one of your best client success stories so far?
Um, You know what? It's interesting because we always said that our clients, take everything takes time. Everything takes time. You got to work with us for a while, and we'll start identifying ways to gain market share, and I think that where we've come now, because everybody shops online in some way, shape, or form, that clients are seeing success a lot quicker, but there's a lot more competition. So I would say our greatest client success lately is just that this is the success for most clients is happening sooner, and we're not sitting on our hands as much. And whether that's selling tickets to a basketball game, selling cases of wine, or selling millions of dollars worth of tires a year, our clients are seeing growth, and they're seeing it quicker, and they're trusting us to guide the process. We are deeply involved with everything from how are you representing yourself on social media, how are you gaining market share in Google, are you playing within the best use of each product, are you applying video, how are you relationship building, how are you being a part of the conversation with your competitors. We guide all of these conversations, right from the what's my logo going to look like, what's my website going to look like, to ultimately how am I just going to be present in the marketplace. And so we're getting a lot of trust from our clients. Things are happening sooner, they're seeing conversions, and they're seeing impact sooner, and they're taking advantage of what we would consider to be a really hot market, because people are just used to it now. They're used to shopping online, they're shopping from their phone, and the data is widely available for businesses to leverage for growth of digital campaigns. So our success is their success, and we're seeing them succeed a lot faster these days.
So yeah, so on a personal level, what are you the most proud of all the things that you've done and evolved into? What are you the proudest of?
Um, for us, I think it's just that it doesn't stop. I'm proud to be in a position where we get new leads every day, and those are turning into clients, and those clients are seeing success, and we can hang our hat on most of these new clients and say, look at what's changed. Give me 2, 3 years ago, and the impact of digital was still a 12-month to 24-month process to see any sort of conversions or real growth in the marketplace. And now, like I said, it's happening so much faster. So what I'm proud of is just that we speak the truth, that we are very, very honest with our clients across the board. Everybody that is here is exactly the same way. We take an education first approach. We make sure that we understand our clients' business and their challenges, and we're super proud of the work that we do when we come out and we can say, you know, we've created a marketplace for a product. You're seeing sales, and we can be proud of that. So I'm not just proud of that from myself, but from our entire team here, that everybody is very much educational in the way that they approach our clients. And it's a partnership. It's not a dictatorship. Like, I think a lot of agencies are like, you need to do it this way, and this is how you're going to do it, and this is what's worked for everybody else. It's not like that. You need to look at the business individually and understand their state in the marketplace and where their growth opportunities are going to come from. And all of our employees and our staff here are very much clued into what is the client going to do to stand out and be different, and how are we going to lead them to that space. So I'm super proud of all of them for always taking that approach.
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 20-year-old version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life up to this point. What advice would you give your young self?
Just to keep on going, because for me, there wasn't a lot of things holding me back. I didn't get into being a parent and well established relationship until I was in my 30s. In my 20s, I was very much just making money, having a good time. I was in sales, I was in a corporate job, I was learning a lot about myself, but then also about how to become a professional. And all the while I was working two jobs and just keeping myself busy, playing hockey and taking my dog to the dog park. And sure, there's your relationships along the way, but there wasn't a lot of times where I didn't think I was going to get to a place I wanted to be. It was just a matter of being ready when I felt like I needed to get there. I was kind of the guy who would just say, "Oh, I'm too young to do this now," or there'll be time. And so I think if I could tell myself anything, would just be to maintain that patience, and it'll come. Because believe in yourself, for one. I was I guess my biggest cheerleader, but also pushing myself down at times, just saying, "Hang on, you'll get there." And eventually, we just jumped off the bridge and went for it, and it worked. But it took a lot of the relationships that we had already built to make the agency grow from the beginning. So if I could tell myself anything, is just to maintain that patience and maintain the focus, figure out what you want to do and why you want to do it, and the rest will fall into place. And don't get caught up in the stuff that happens every day.
Yeah.
It's easy. Everybody goes through mental health challenges. Everybody goes through a little bit of depression. I'm the kind of guy that I reflect year over year, whether I want to or not. It just happens. And it's like, 2 to 4 weeks of just like beating yourself up, and what could I have done better, and why did I make those decisions, and then ultimately you come out of it and go, I'm in a pretty good place. I don't know why that reflection happens, but I think it's a good thing at the end of the day, that to self-reflect, figure out where you've been, what'd you like about it, what didn't you like about it, why won't you ever do that again.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and then find a path, right? Because it's just so easy to get weighed down by the negative. And I guess that's the other part about, if I never got into sales, I don't know if I would have the same mentality. Just simply because the one thing that you learn about being in sales is attitude is number one, and maintaining a good attitude is number two. And without those two things, you got nothing, because nobody's going to buy from somebody who's mopping the floor with their tears and coming in and telling a sobby story. It's confidence. It's being energetic. It's just having fun with people, getting to know them. I'd mentioned yesterday we went out and to an indoor golf facility. That was all just a business group that we had just put together, just guys that have no relationship outside of the day to day. Hey, what's going on in your office? And so we decided to just take that out of it, go hit some balls and have a beer and watch some football. And I think that's in today's world, that's a really big missing piece for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think in the business world, you don't bring those relationships close enough. They're always, you know, extended. So yeah, that's something I would say is really important now is just building those real life connections with people.
So if you could see one hockey game in the history of hockey, where are you going? What would you love to see with your own eyes?
Um, from the past,
Yeah,
I'd love to be there in 1989 when the Flames beat the Canadians and, rooting for Mr. Mustache, Lanny McDonald, to score that game winner. That would be it for me, for sure. Just from a true Flames fan perspective. I've been lucky. I've been to the World Juniors. I've been to a number of different arenas. I've traveled a little bit to see our team play on the road. Headed to Chicago here in March to check another arena off in the United Center off of the list. But I told the wife, like, get ready. We're going to Sweden one day, or we're going to Prague, and whether it's the World Juniors or the World Championship or the Spengler Cup, like that's on the bucket list,
right on.
100%.
Right on. So
Yeah.
everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, I'm very much an extroverted introvert. I like to keep to myself, especially in the office. I'm very busy and I'm very much a one track, straight to the office, get the work done, and then get home. So I think the perception changes day to day just based on what's going on here in the business and how busy everybody is. I'm not the guy that hoots and hollers and yells hooray, but there's a lot of really good things happening. So we just sit down, we talk about it. That's I'm very even keel. My friends would say, ice in the veins sort of thing. You can come to me with problems and we can talk through it. And I'm very level headed. I'm not emotional. My wife loves it and she hates it at the same time because it's like, can you give me something like what's going on? How are you feeling today? Sort of thing. And I'm just steady Eddie.
Yeah,
So there's moments of excitement. But yeah, I'm very much just head down, work, get it done because I got other things to do kind of
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
totally get it. So if
Yeah.
anyone out there wants to learn more about you, reach out, get involved with your business, what's the best way to do that?
Infrontmarketing.ca. I would have one of the most common names on LinkedIn, but you can search Infront Marketing and Dave Taylor, and you'll find me without a doubt, whether it's on Google or on LinkedIn. I am easy to find, and then of course just direct through the website. And consultations are always free. Happy to talk to people about their business or certainly about the personal side and learn from other people's stories. So happy to take those connections for sure.
Excellent.
And students, we love to hear from students. If anybody's thinking about getting into marketing or has questions about things that they're learning and want a perspective from the agency, we are in Calgary, but we do advertising all over the world. We have clients internationally. We advertise overseas and in South America. And like I said, happy to chat from the client's perspective, from the student perspective, or personally, for sure.
Excellent. Dave, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your story. Have a great 2024, man.
You too, Joe. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Take care.